There's a unique kind of freedom that appears the moment you stop trying to control every detail. When you no longer cling to the endless what-ifs or imagine all the worst-case scenarios, something magical happens. Life itself begins to move. Worry, no matter how loud it gets, is nothing more than a cage made of shadows. It locks you inside a future that doesn't even exist, stealing away the calm and strength that already live within you. But when you start letting go, when you decide to trust the natural rhythm of life instead of wrestling with it, something powerful takes place. The current shifts. Life in its quiet wisdom begins to align with you. Not because you forced it, but because you finally created space for it to flow. In today's video, I want to share with you 7 timeless Buddhist lessons, gentle yet incredibly powerful teachings that can help you break free from the grip of worry and step into the peace that's been patiently waiting for you all along. Lesson 1. Fear is a seed. In Buddhist thought, the energy you carry within shapes the world you see outside. Fear isn't just an emotion, it's a lens. The more you look at life through that lens, the more distorted your reality becomes. Here's the irony: when you fear something deeply, you start living as if it's already true. Your subconscious breathes life into it. Picture this: you're terrified of losing your job. That fear seeps into everything you do. You hesitate. You second guess. You hold back. Anxiety clouds your judgment, and without realizing it, you begin moving toward the very outcome you dreaded. The same thing happens in relationships. The fear of abandonment can make you cling too tightly or doubt too much. And that very tension can end up pushing others away. It's not fate working against you, it's fear working within you. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like fertile soil. It doesn't judge what you plant. Whether you sow seeds of fear or seeds of calm, the mind will help them grow. But you are the gardener. You choose what takes root. This doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means learning to shift your focus away from fear and toward presence. When fear rises, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me create peace, or is it feeding panic? You are not powerless. You are the creator of your inner landscape. When your inner world transforms, your outer world begins to mirror that change. Release fear, and you'll notice how life itself starts to soften, open and flow in directions you never imagined. Lesson 2. True strength is found in surrender. We live in a society that constantly tells us strength means control. Control your time. Control your success. Control every outcome. We're told to push harder, plan better, and hold on tighter. But Buddhist wisdom flips that idea on its head. It whispers something far more liberating. Real strength isn't about gripping tighter, it's about loosening your hold. It's not giving up, it's giving over the illusion that you can bend every person, every situation, every moment to your will. Surrender in the Buddhist sense isn't weakness. It's a sacred release. It's the art of doing what you can, then stepping back with trust, allowing karma and life's natural rhythm to unfold. Think of holding water in your palm. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. But when your hand is open, the water remains. That's surrender. Not passive, not careless, just open. It's a quiet confidence that says, I've done my part. Now I trust life to meet me halfway. And when we stop interfering, something remarkable happens. Our energy returns. Our minds clear. We begin to notice opportunities that anxiety once blinded us from. Help shows up from unexpected places. Life stops fighting us, and starts walking beside us. Buddhism teaches that surrender is not the end. It's the true beginning, the gateway to freedom. And in that freedom, you don't lose power, you discover it. Lesson 3. Anxiety belongs to tomorrow. Peace belongs to now. Buddhist wisdom reminds us of a simple truth. Anxiety cannot survive in the present moment. It doesn't live here. It lives in the mind's projections of what could go wrong, of what might happen. But none of that is real. It's just a movie your mind plays about the future. When you feel anxious, pay attention to where your mind has gone. It's racing ahead, weaving stories, creating scenarios, dragging you into a world that hasn't even arrived. A world of what-ifs and maybes. And while you're lost there, you miss the only place life is ever real right here. This moment, this breath. This is your home. And in this space, you're safe. You are breathing. You are grounded. And you are enough. Mindfulness, returning to now. In Buddhism, this practice is called mindfulness, the gentle art of returning to the present. Each time you bring yourself back to now, you loosen anxiety's grip, because here, in this very moment, nothing is chasing you. There is no looming future to fear. There is only this still, quiet second life, unfolding one breath at a time. The mind may roar with noise, but the present moment whispers. And the more you listen, the clearer it becomes. Peace isn't something you have to chase out there. It's already within you, quietly waiting beneath the noise, ready to be remembered. Lesson 4. The weight of imagined fears. So much of what burdens our hearts never even happens. Buddhist wisdom offers a simple but powerful reminder. Our biggest source of anxiety is often not reality, it's imagination. We worry, we stress, we lose sleep over stories that never actually play out. We carry invisible stones of fear in our backpack, dragging them from one day to the next, even though most of those fears never come to pass. Why does this happen? Because the human mind is like a restless novelist that never stops writing. It spins endless what-ifs, painting vivid pictures of disasters, heartbreaks, and failures that exist only in thought, not in the present moment. Think about it. How many times have you dreaded a conversation only to realize it turned out fine? Or feared the worst in a situation only for it to resolve peacefully? The storm almost never arrives the way we imagined, and often it doesn't arrive at all. This is the trap of worry. It twists scale, pulling distant fears so close that we react to illusions as though they're reality. Buddhism teaches us an important truth. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it deserves belief. The mind can write stories, but we don't have to live inside all of them. So the next time you feel yourself spiraling into anxiety, ask gently, is this really happening, or is this just a thought? More often than not, you'll realize you've been wrestling with shadows, not reality. Freedom begins the moment you return to now, not tomorrow, not next week, but this breath, this second. Let the imagined fears dissolve. Reality is almost always softer, kinder, gentler than the fear itself. And when you stop living in the mind's predictions, life starts to feel lighter, clearer, and far more peaceful. Lesson 5. Control blocks faith. Here's a truth that's difficult to accept, yet deeply liberating. You can't cling to the steering wheel and still believe the road will carry you. Buddhism reminds us that control and faith are like two travelers walking in opposite directions. The tighter you grip control, the further you drift from trust. And the deeper you learn to trust, the more you must be willing to let go. Trying to micromanage every detail of your life is like saying to the universe, I don't trust you. I don't believe you'll take care of me. That's the hidden voice behind control, a subtle yet powerful form of fear. It's the fear that unless you constantly supervise and push, everything will collapse. But has control ever truly given you peace? More often, the harder we try to dominate outcomes, the more tangled we become in anxiety, tension, and exhaustion. Control may offer the illusion of safety, but beneath it usually hides a quiet panic. Faith, on the other hand, is not passive. It's deeply powerful. It whispers, "I've done my part. Now I trust the unfolding." Faith allows you to take action without being enslaved by the result. It welcomes mystery, trusts timing you can't dictate, and accepts outcomes you may not yet understand. Buddhist wisdom calls this the release of attachment. You act with clarity and intention, but you let go of the obsession with how everything must turn out. It's like planting a seed. You water it, nurture it, give it sunlight, but you don't tug at it every day to force it to grow. True growth requires patience, trust, and unseen roots. So ask yourself, am I holding on so tightly that I've forgotten how to breathe? Am I trying so hard to force a future that I no longer believe in life's quiet intelligence? Letting go isn't giving up. It's showing up fully, doing your best, and then allowing life to meet you in its own way. That is where faith begins, and where peace quietly enters. Lesson 6: Letting go is how you begin to grow. Worry has a way of making your world smaller, almost without you noticing. At first it feels harmless, just a cautious thought, a little extra planning, a fear of what might go wrong. You tell yourself you're just being careful. But slowly that carefulness becomes a cage. You start shrinking your goals because they feel too uncertain. You silence your voice because you fear judgment. You close off your heart because it feels safer not to risk being hurt. Worry doesn't protect you, it restricts you. Life, however, was never meant to be lived in retreat. Growth begins the moment you start letting go. You shift your focus to what truly belongs to you, your thoughts, your choices, your kindness, and release what was never meant to be gripped so tightly. Picture yourself in a river. The harder you try to scoop up the water with your hands, the faster it slips away. But when you loosen, when you lean back and float, the river carries you forward. That is the essence of surrender. That is the path to growth. The more you loosen the grip of fear, the more space you create inside yourself for courage, for creativity, for joy. Letting go isn't small. It's expansive. It's bold. It calls you back into the present, the only place where life truly happens, not in the endless what-ifs, but in the right now. Ask yourself, how much energy do I waste each day worrying about things I can't control? And what if I poured that same energy into creating, into connecting, into trusting? When you stop trying to force life into your blueprint, and instead learn to dance with its rhythm, something extraordinary happens. You feel supported by something greater, the quiet wisdom of existence itself. Letting go is not weakness, it's bravery. It's the strength to stop shrinking and the courage to start living with an open heart. Take a breath, feel the weight lift. Remember, this freedom begins the very moment you decide to let go. Lesson 7: Life begins to flow when you step aside. One of the most powerful yet often overlooked truths in Buddhist teaching is this: life works best when we stop trying to control every inch of it. The harder we meddle, the more resistance we create. The tighter we grip, the more chaos we invite. But when we learn to step back, not out of neglect, but out of trust, something extraordinary happens. Life starts moving on its own, guided by a rhythm far wiser than any of our plans. Of course, this can feel unsettling. From a young age, we've been taught that control equals safety. That, without constant effort, correction, and micromanagement, everything will fall apart. So, we interfere. We overanalyze every conversation, anticipate problems that haven't even appeared, chase outcomes that aren't ready, and insert ourselves into every detail, believing that if we don't, we'll fall behind or fail entirely. But the truth is that relentless interference doesn't create safety. It creates friction. It drains our energy clouds, our clarity, and burns us out by forcing us to manage what was never ours to manage in the first place. Buddhism points us toward a gentler way. It teaches that by releasing the need to interfere, we allow life to unfold with its own intelligence. Just as a stream naturally carves its way through the landscape, your life can find its own path forward if you stop damming it with fear and control. Think back, how many times have you tried to force something, a relationship, a job, a decision, only to watch it fall apart or backfire? And how many times have you surrendered, taken a breath, let go, and watched things work out far better than you imagined? Your worry, your control, your constant mental grasping. They're like rocks you keep tossing into the stream. They disturb the current. But when you finally stop throwing stones, the water runs clear again. That's when life begins to flow. When you remove the obstacles, the water flows smoothly again. Life works the same way. Interfering doesn't make things safer, it only makes them harder. It turns possibility into pressure. And in trying to control everything, you often close the door to better outcomes that might have arrived if only you had allowed them. So how do you practice this? Start with observation. Notice when you're clinging too tightly, when you're obsessively checking your phone for a reply, rethinking a decision for the 10th time, or trying to push someone or something to move faster than it's ready to. Then ask yourself, what would happen if I loosened my grip? What if I did what's necessary, and then let the rest go? Non-interference doesn't mean apathy. It means wisdom. It means acting on what is truly yours to act upon and surrendering the rest. You plant the seed, you water it, but you don't tug at it, demanding it grow faster. Growth, whether in nature or in your own life, follows its own rhythm. Force it, and you risk damage. Picture holding a fragile butterfly in your hands. If you squeeze out of fear, you'll crush it. But if you keep your palm open, it may rest with you longer or even return after it flies away. Your goals, your relationships, your peace of mind, every one of them needs space to breathe. The tighter you hold, the faster they slip away. The more room you give, the more naturally they flourish. And then something shifts. Life itself begins to carry you. The right people appear at the right time. Answers arrive without you forcing them. You no longer feel like everything depends only on you. Your energy rises, your breath softens, and your heart relaxes. You realize that what you feared wouldn't happen without your control was never meant to be forced in the first place. At the root of interference is fear. Fear of failing, of losing, of not being enough. But here's the deeper truth. Life never asked you for perfection. It asks only for trust. A calm, steady trust in the unfolding of your path. You don't have to control every scene. Sometimes, you just need to play your role and let the story unfold. So pause. Reflect on one area in your life where you've been interfering too much. Is it a conversation you keep replaying? A decision you're forcing because you're afraid to wait? A goal you're choking with constant worry? Ask yourself, what would it mean to let go? Not from laziness, but from deep trust. The moment you loosen your grip, life finds space to move. It rises to meet you in ways reason cannot explain. That's when synchronicities appear. That's when grace enters. That's when you feel lifted, not by your constant effort, but by something greater than yourself. Buddhism reminds us we're not here to overpower life. We're here to live in harmony with it. Life is not a machine to control, but a flow to experience. You can't calm the ocean, but you can learn to ride its waves. You can't control the tide, but you can move in rhythm with it. Every lesson we've shared has been preparing you for this deeper truth. What you grip too tightly, you may lose. What you release, you set free. And what you stop interfering with begins to grow. You don't have to solve everything today. Just take one step, one breath, one act of trust. Let go of the illusion that your control is what keeps life moving. Let this moment mark the beginning of a new way of living. Release one worry. Trust one uncertainty. Allow life to bring you something greater than you could ever force. Because when you stop pushing, you start receiving. When you stop interfering, life begins to flow. Not against you, but with you. In the end, life isn't a battle to win, but a rhythm to dance with. And the more you loosen your grip, the more beauty you'll discover in the unfolding. Buddhism doesn't ask you to ignore your duties or stop caring. It invites you to release the burdens that were never yours to carry. It asks you to loosen your grip. Let go of fear and create space for life to unfold in its own mysterious, beautiful way. So as you move forward, remember, you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to fight the current. Your true strength isn't in control, it's in alignment. Take a deep breath, trust the timing, and know that when you step back, you step into a life filled with clarity, peace, and purpose. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more timeless lessons inspired by Buddhist wisdom. And if you know someone who's feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or trying too hard to control everything, share this video. It might be exactly the reminder they need today. Finally, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're ready to stop interfering with in your life? Drop a comment below, I'll be reading and responding. Until next time, breathe deeply, trust gently, and walk softly with life.